In this video, I'm going to take a look at things Battlefield 2018 will have. Some of you might be wondering how I'll know what the game will have, but believe it or not, DICE have dropped quite a few hints over the past few weeks, and I'll also bring in some of the more reliable sources of leaks. When it comes to leaks, you do have to be careful, of course. However, there are some sources that you can take fairly seriously. That being said, I always take everything with a pinch of salt and like to constructively criticize everything that comes my way. Many YouTubers have focused on some of these points in the past and made a big 10-minute video on one of them, or maybe they've focused on it on a Twitter post or something like that, maybe not given it enough thought or investigation. In this video I'm going to go through it all, try and keep it as concise as possible, and then when we get the teaser trailer or any other information, I'll make sure to drop it on the channel. So starting off, you may have all heard that DICE's CEO, Andrew Wilson, was quoted on saying, "Battlefield 2018 will take inspiration from DICE's core DNA." This is of course not a massive thing to hear, you'd expect that, but there was some more interesting stuff that came out of his mouth at EA's most recent investor call, and this is essentially EA's chance to address investors and explain how EA is going to make all their money. You have to understand that as a business, EA needs to make money, and although I'm against some of their practices, loot boxes, etc., when it comes to Battlefield, I'm still going to take an interest in what they say. The full quote from Andrew Wilson is as follows. "With our new Battlefield game, the team at DICE is bringing the intensity of combat to life in new and unexpected ways. Every battle is unique, and every mode brings its own challenges, from the way you interact with the environment around you to compelling single-player stories. To the next level of large-scale multiplayer that spans across multiple maps and modes, this will be a deep and fully featured shooter and ongoing service that will evolve with major new experiences for our community, beginning right from launch. Building on the success of Battlefield 1 and taking inspiration from DICE's core DNA, this new game will advance the state-of-the-art from the franchise while still delivering the signature gameplay and Battlefield moments that have captivated and grown our global community." Remember that last sentence? Battlefield moments. I'm quoting that one because I hope the next game's got some more Battlefield moments than BF1 had. There were some in BF1, but BF4 and BF3 did it a lot better in my opinion. Anyway, let's focus on some of the statements. The statement in general is quite lengthy, and although some of it is fairly vague and essentially says the next Battlefield game will be a Battlefield game, one or two parts of it give us clear information. Firstly, Battlefield 2018 will 100% have a campaign. With Call of Duty recently stating they are removing their single-player campaign from the game, some players were worried DICE may follow suit. However, this is clearly not the case, and are looking at making a similar single-player section to Battlefield 1. If the next game is World War II, I want to see a part of the campaign played from a Nazi point of view, stretching the understanding of players. Maybe this is something that could be quite controversial, however I really would like personally to see both sides of the story. I think DICE did a fairly good job in Battlefield 1, but I wanted to see them go that extra step in Battlefield World War II, assuming it is going to be a World War II game, and we'll get into that in a little more detail later in the video. Another point made in the statement regards the ongoing service. In my opinion, this means DICE will be dropping the premium aspect of the game and moving over to a live service in a similar way to what we've seen in Fortnite. A live service will really enable players to experience more common updates and avoid a separation of the player base as we've seen with Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, Hardline, and of course Battlefield 1. This point about a live service was all but confirmed later in the conference as Andrew Wilson once again stated, "Additional innovations in how we're thinking about the future of multiplayer and first-person shooters will also be there, both at launch and over time as part of a live service." As the recent hype and Battlefield 1 Easter eggs have proved, Battlefield will never be the same, and on May 23rd we will see a trailer for Battlefield 2018. That of course will confirm everything that has been discussed and will certainly know the direction, setting and a lot more to boot. Taking a quick look into that date, I can say that the game should be set during the Second World War, or at least be related to World War I in some way. So maybe it could be a post-apocalyptic World War II alternate universe sort of thing, but it's definitely going to be World War II as the main theme. On May 23rd, 1939, Germany had begun planning the invasion of Poland, signalling a significant date at the start of the Second World War, whilst on May 23rd, 1945, the Third Reich officially collapsed, signalling a significant date at the end of the war. In my opinion, DICE have pretty much confirmed with this information that the next Battlefield game will be connected to World War II in some way, shape or form. It is of course the case that DICE could have a World War II spin-off or alternative game, however I think it will definitely focus on the main aspects of the Second World War as I mentioned before. Now when it comes to leaks, we've had quite the selection. The leaker that I prefer to believe is known as Almighty Dak. I've linked some of his videos and his Twitter down in the description. Keep an eye on what he's got to say. Very interesting stuff indeed. Again, take it with a pinch of salt, but you can almost be certain that some of the stuff that comes out of his mouth will be confirmed with this May 23rd teaser trailer. When it comes to Battlefield 2018, he is under the impression that we will receive a World War II game and then DICE will bring out a Bad Company 3 game in the future. I'm on board with this decision. I think the 2 games within maybe a year, year and a half, maybe pushing it to 2 years is quite realistic. Now let's take a quick peek at that new White Horse Easter egg. Jose Fonte Baby 06, quite the name, posted on Reddit explaining how the horse is more than likely the one that belonged to Napoleon and was called Marengo. This could have a few meanings, however Jose seems to think that it's purely a reference to the French resistance and makes sense due to the map it was found on and the French ties throughout the Easter egg. You also have to remember that DICE have been releasing the French DLC for free. Fort de Vaux was the map it was found on, yada yada yada, French stuff, linking to the French World War II. It's all going to be related to that in my opinion. So in this video, we've essentially taken a look at some of the things DICE have said. We know that DICE are going to bring a single player to Battlefield 2018. We know there is going to be a live service involved, and we know that of course they're going to keep it in line with other Battlefield games, building on the success of BF1. You can expect the same game modes, you can expect a very similar looking and sounding game, which is fine by me. However, I believe they will improve on that, bringing in some of the more refined aspects of Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, and even Hardline when it comes to infantry, and then of course apply that to the new setting and bring in new vehicles as well. I look forward to seeing what we have on the 23rd. Let me know in the comments what you think of this video, maybe if you've got anything additional you want to add, pop it down in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next video.